I am probably gonna get some hate on this. Okay, let's go. What is up, my friends? Welcome back to your average gents. It's your boy Evan. I'm back on this chair, which means that we are gonna talk about watches. So in today's video, I'm gonna talk about what I feel about fashion watches. Are they really worth your money? I am also gonna give you a review of this fashion watch which I bought 2.5 years ago, called the Fifth Watch, and see if this stood up to the test of time and wear. Without further ado, let's begin. Look, I have no problem with anyone wearing fashion watches. I have no problem with cheap and affordable watches as well. In fact, my favorite watches are super cheap and super affordable themselves. But I do have a problem with super cheap watches that are massively overpriced for what they are worth. And these are the watches that brand themselves as affordable luxury because they don't cost as much as Rolex or Omega. Just like this pen is $1, I can just sell it at $50 and brand it as something that is super minimalistic. It writes very well, it has decent quality, but it doesn't cost nearly as much as a Montblanc pen. Do you hear how ridiculous that sounds? And the term affordable luxury is such an oxymoron, right? If it is affordable, then you don't call them luxury. Luxury by definition is supposed to be expensive and difficult to obtain. I'm sure if you're on social media, you would have heard of many of these brands: The Fifth, Movement, Vincero, and the most well-known of them all, Daniel Wellington. These brands brand themselves as going directly to customers without the middleman, although they don't spend any money on leases or any money on storefronts. But they do spend lots and lots of money on social media and influencers to market themselves. But they definitely did something right. I mean, to market themselves and achieve this amount of success, I have to give them on that. As a consumer, you would expect that since they cut out the middleman, then their watches is supposed to be very affordable to you. But for the price of this, you could definitely get a watch that is of a much better quality than this. Now let's talk about this fashion watch which I bought with my own money, and that is none other than the Fifth Watch. It was founded in 2014. I bought this 2.5 years ago in 2017, and I even did a review on that. It is so embarrassing, do not watch that. I did not know better back then, but after 2.5 years, I definitely have a lot to say on this. Now let's see, the model that I bought was the New York collection, the Upper East model. It retails for 185 Singapore dollars, about 130 over USD. For 130 USD, this is what you're getting. A super generic design which may or may not be a good thing depending on how you like it. Super cheap quartz movements with no heritage at all. Genuine leather strap. Now, genuine leather is actually the cheapest and the lowest grade of leather. A good quality leather will at least be a top grain or full grain leather. And the Fifth leather strap is just an abomination, right? I don't know if you can see, but the creases on this leather strap is just so ugly and low class. Now, cheap mineral glass is also used on the watch face, and mineral glass is also the cheapest and the lowest quality of the glass as well. So overall, it just feels and looks really cheap, and I mean, it doesn't even feel like it has any weight on my hand. Oh, and not to mention, the case is made of super cheap stainless steel as well. I dropped this thing once, I mean just once, and it already has a super ugly dent. I don't know if you can see here the super ugly dent. On the other hand, in comparison, I drop my $20 Casio watch pretty much on a daily basis, and there is no dent at all. None. Now let's take a look at another fashion watch, Daniel Wellington. Founded a little bit earlier in 2011, their basic watch in leather strap retails for around 200 USD. Similarly, they use a cheap quartz movement. Not that quartz movement is bad, it actually keeps a more accurate time as an automatic watch, but it's just really cheap, right? And similarly, they use cheap genuine leather straps. Now, they did not state what kind of glass they are using, but I'm just gonna assume that they're using cheap mineral glass as well, because if they are using a high quality sapphire crystal, they will definitely put it in their description as a form of marketing, because sapphire crystal is the highest grade of glass on your watch. If a watch is gonna use a good quality glass, you bet they're gonna be proud of it. So for the price point of $130 to $200 for fashion watches, you definitely could get a better deal. A watch brand that is much more reputable, much better quality, and much richer heritage. For example, Seiko, Orient, Citizens, Tissot, and even a Casio. An example of watch that is better than this or the Daniel Wellington is probably the Orient Bambino, which has an awesome automatic movement, and it is cheaper than this or the Daniel Wellington. Even the Timex Weekender, which is around 20-30 bucks, is better than this as well. So in terms of the price value proposition, fashion watches such as Daniel Wellington, the Fifth Movement, Vincero are probably the most overpriced watch that you can ever get. If you just do a little digging on AliExpress, you will find that this kind of fashion watches are worth much lesser than they actually retails for. They basically can go as cheap as just $3 USD. That just shows how much fashion watches mark up their prices. Are they affordable? I mean, compared to Rolexes, of course they're affordable. Just like if I sell you this pen for 50 bucks, you probably can afford it. But just means you can afford it doesn't mean that it is worth it. In terms of value for money, absolutely not. But then again, it is just my 2 cents. The purpose of this video is not to bash fashion watch brands. Well, sort of. But it's really to let you have an informed decision next time when you are thinking of getting a fashion watch, and to prevent you from getting a buyer's remorse like me. I don't regret buying this. I mean, if I could use this as an example to show you, then it's worth it. Now, after all this, after watching this video, if you still really like the look, or rather, you really like the brand name printed on this watch, then sure, by all means, go ahead. What do I know? Anyway, that is basically it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts whether or not you're gonna buy a fashion watch down in the comments below. If you found this video informative, please help your boy out and smash that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. If you're new to this channel, make sure to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you will be notified immediately when I drop a dope video like this. Once again, my name is Evan, you're watching Your Average Gent, and I will see each and every single one of you in the next video. Bam!